Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, I'll be interviewing a couple of firefighters who about a year ago responded to a 5-alarm emergency. No, not the kind that you're thinking about. They discovered that the coffee in the fire station is horrible, and they decided to do something about it. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, most of us know what a good cup of coffee tastes like, and we also have tasted a really bad cup of coffee. Joining me on the Jeff Crilley Show today, a couple of guys who know a little something about both the bad and the good. Paul Clarke and Kyle Lund, both with the Firegrounds Coffee Company. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I'm inspired by your story because you're both active Dallas firefighters. You also have served the country at war, and we appreciate that. Tell us the story. How did it begin?
So back in 2017, I was in the ambulance with a buddy. We were waiting for the police to clear a potentially dangerous scene. And we just were joking about we should start our own coffee company because the coffee at the fire station was so cheap and so bad. We kind of laughed it off. We came up with the names right then and there, came up with the name of the varieties of the coffee. And then we just kind of brushed it aside because it was just a funny idea at 2 a.m. And then fast forward to 2018, I deployed to Iraq, and during some of my downtime, I was like, man, that really would be a good idea to start a first responder branded coffee company. So I started to actually look into it, research it, figure out what it would take, and some other military personnel that were deployed with me were like, hey, Paul, like this is a really, really good idea. You should actually do this. And so some of them were like, what if I give you $5,000? And what if I give you $3,000? What would that get me? And I was like, oh gosh, like we should actually maybe do this. So altogether, we were able to raise enough money to get it launched and file the business and come up with the logo and the graphics on the bag in Iraq. And then when I got back from my deployment, I was actually able to launch the company with the help of Kyle Lund.
So Kyle, let's have you pick up the story from there. When he first came to you with this idea, did you say brilliant or it'll never work?
I thought the idea was definitely brilliant at first, but anyone who knows a fireman knows that we always have great ideas for our days off or something we want to do. So I didn't know how dedicated he was, but we got to talking some more, and the more we talked about it, the more we meshed, and we just kept pushing forward, and here we are.
Well, you were telling me a cool story, Paul, where you actually came up with the logo design while you were off in the Middle East. So tell us that story.
So I wanted to do something, obviously, that was firefighter themed. So there's an axe and a halligan on there, and that's called a set of irons. And that's how we get forcible entry into a building when we need to, save somebody's life or render aid, what have you. But the military computers in Iraq don't have any design software on them. So I made a really, really bad PowerPoint version of this, pretty much like hand-drawn, like stick figure style. And I took that and sent it to a graphics designer friend, and I was like, can you please make this look presentable? And of course, with her magic, she was able to design the logo. Well, and she actually gave me 11 versions of this.
No kidding.
And I made the Joint Operations Center, which is full of all sorts of countries and ranks and everything, all the way from 1-star general down to private first class. They all voted on all the logos, and so that one actually ended up winning. That's my free market research I was able to do.
Well, you have gotten the attention of the media. We're going to show a clip from the D Magazine article, which I love. That was such a wonderful article. Everybody you tell this idea to must think, oh my goodness, why hasn't somebody thought of this?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
We do. So one of the biggest things is the thing that we're most proud of with our company, and I think the one thing that resonates with everyone that we talk to, is how much we really strive to give back to first responders. And so that's really at the heart of everything we do. So yeah, we're very excited about it. We're excited that it's going well.
Awesome. We also have some video that we pulled off of your Facebook page. We'll go ahead and roll that. And I want to talk about not just the marketing piece, but the fact that Americans really don't know what a good cup of coffee tastes like. I mean, we were talking about some of the familiar gourmet coffee shops that all of us frequent, but we're not tasting great coffee, are we?
A lot of times, no, we don't. We go to these different large coffee shop chains that we won't mention by name specifically, but they over roast their coffee. They put a lot of cream and sugar, mostly sugar. And since they're everywhere and that's all we drink, that's what we think a good cup of coffee tastes like, because it's been put in our faces so many times. But if you have coffee from us or another premium coffee roaster, you'll see the difference is quite apparent in the mouthfeel, the viscosity, the lack of acidity and bitterness, the sweetness, and the caffeine content.
So tell me, when they over roast coffee, what does that do to the flavor?
Over roasting coffee is a great way to hide the low quality beans that you buy to make the product, cheaper. So it gets rid of the caffeine content, and when you over roast coffee, it also gets rid of the origin flavors. So it's hard to tell where the coffee's from.
Are you guys always innovating and thinking of new beans to try or new formulas?
Absolutely. We're looking for
different ways to grind it. Whether, high quality Brazilian beans, we're looking into Panamanian or Honduran, and just really trying to find the best quality beans we can find to really go different directions with more brands.
And I'm naive about this stuff, but I'm told that it's almost like the wine industry and grapes, and it really depends on the weather and the soil and all that stuff. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Elevation, the pH balance of the soil, it all plays into effect. I mean, if you get beans from Ethiopia, you're going to have hints of stone fruit, cherry, orange peel as a much more fruitier cup than if you get beans from Colombia, which is going to have notes of caramel, bourbon, chocolate. Completely different.
Have you guys become kind of aficionados now? I mean, can you taste a cup of coffee and know what bean it is?
I wouldn't say we're at that level, and I would say I don't think anybody is truly could be at that level.
Okay.
But we can taste a good cup of coffee, and we can taste a bad cup of coffee.
Well, where do you see all this going?
So eventually, we want to be able to raise enough money to where we can open up our first coffee shop that we also manufacture out of, and then through that we would like to start a chain of coffee shops that not only would be able to give us the ability to donate coffee back to first responders, but we could also help out our nonprofit partners as well.
Well, I love what you guys are doing, and thank you both for your service. I know you both serve this country and continue to serve it as firefighters. We're going to put up the website to end this segment. Firegroundscoffeecompany.com is the website. Please go ahead, check them out, order from their online store, and support these guys. Thank you both.
Thank you so much for having us.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.